Now we go to the next method, and that is nitrogen washout method. First of all, it's an open circuit method. I mentioned this at the start of the video. It's an open circuit method. Helium dilution was closed circuit, means the air or the helium was going in that closed circuit only. That's not the case here. So what is the nitrogen washout method principle? Again, it's based on the law of conservation of mass. Now, there is a certain initial lung volume and a certain initial concentration of nitrogen in that lung volume. Again, the final formula is going to be C1V1 is equal to C2V2, but with a slight difference. The method, before I tell you the method, let me just tell you a common life, routine life example so that you understand the method better. Let's say here is a certain volume which you are going to measure. Look, it's all about the measurement of a lung volume. Now, let's say experimentally we are measuring this particular volume, and if you have tea or coffee and the wet tea or coffee has got stuck at the bottom of this volume. Okay, imagine this is a cup, a large cup, and some of its volume is occupied by that tea powder, wet tea powder, which has got stuck to this end of the cup. Now, suppose if I say that this is 50% volume, if I measure this this powder, tea powder or coffee powder, and if I say this is filling the 50% of the entire volume, okay, then we will measure this mass, measure the mass of this tea powder or coffee powder or whatever the substance is. Now we will measure the volume or mass of this particular substance, and if I tell you after measuring the mass, it is, let's say, 500 ml. I am taking some hypothetical figures so that I can explain the nitrogen washout method a little better. You understand this? First, we know that this particular substance is occupying 50% of the volume which we are measuring, the cup volume. And then we will start measuring this volume, this powder which has got stuck into the cup. And after measurement, if I know that the volume of this tea powder is 500 ml, then what will be the volume of this entire cup? Come on, the answer is obvious, 1000 ml, isn't it? If I know that this powder was occupying 50% volume of the cup, and that 50% amounts to 500 ml, then what is the volume of the cup? 1000 ml, isn't it? That is a simple explanation to this particular method. Okay, we will know the initial concentration of nitrogen, of course, in this case, and we will know the initial volume, and final volume will that be of the lung, residual volume we can measure. This is a residual volume. Let's say this is a residual volume, and we know the nitrogen concentration in the residual volume. Now the only thing that remains is how much is the volume of nitrogen that is to be measured. How we do it? Let's take this analogy further, the cup and the tea powder, the wet tea powder stuck there. Now this time it's an open circuit method, I told you just now. Now what you imagine that I'll take water, fill into this cup and stir it slightly, swish it or stir it slightly and then remove it. Some amount of this wet tea powder which is stuck will come out. Empty this. Then again pour fresh water and swish it again and then take it out. Collect it. We are collecting that volume of nitrogen. So we go on doing this. Slowly, this nitrogen or the tea powder, wet tea powder which is coming out, it is decreasing. Finally, all this amount will come out. I hope you are understanding this particular analogy. The tea powder was stuck, so we are assuming that as nitrogen right now. We pour the water, fill the cup and then take it out into some other bag or something. We go on doing this. Slowly, this stuck tea powder is coming out. Eventually, all of it will come out. Okay, all this will come out into the bag. Now, the only thing that remains is we will measure the volume of this tea powder. Remember what I said, we have to know how much is the volume and initial concentration is known to us. So, if we know the final volume that was collected, all this volume which was there in the cup, now it has come out. We have collected it into a bag. We now have to measure how much is this volume which we have collected in the bag. From that we get to know the volume of the cup, as I mentioned just now. Or talking in terms of nitrogen. Look, let's say we inspire atmospheric air, it goes into the lungs and it remains in the lungs. Now, if I say that in the lung, in the residual volume, 80% nitrogen is there. Okay, and I'm just giving the example because when we inspire the air, about 79 to 80% is the fraction of nitrogen. So let's say 79 to 80% volume is that of nitrogen. In the residual volume, 80% fraction is that of nitrogen. And now we start collecting that 80% and we collect it in a bag. Look, the method is nitrogen washout method. So we are going to wash out that nitrogen just like we washed out the tea powder or coffee powder from this cup. So nitrogen will be taken out from the residual volume and the volume of that nitrogen will be measured. Let's say if it is 800 ml nitrogen has come out from the residual volume. What will be the volume of the residual volume? What will be the residual volume? If nitrogen is 80% in the residual volume and that 80% amounts to 800 ml, we are going to collect the nitrogen. Okay, nitrogen washout, nitrogen is going to come out, we will collect and measure the volume. And if it turns out to be 800 ml, that means the residual volume, the volume of the cup that we are measuring or the residual volume which we are measuring is 1000 ml. I mean 80% of 1000 is 800 ml, isn't it? So if 80% is 800 ml, that means the entire volume was 1000 ml. That is the basis for this particular method, the nitrogen washout method. And now just imagine we will give 100% oxygen. Apply the same principle which I just narrated some time back. We will give 100% oxygen. The subject will breathe 100% oxygen. It will go into the lung volume. It will go into the residual volume which we are measuring. So it's going there. and expired air that comes out brings out the nitrogen. Remember, it was like a stuck powder. Nitrogen was already present in our residual volume at the start of the procedure. Then we will give 100% oxygen with inspiration. So no nitrogen is coming from the air, okay? It's 100% oxygen. It goes in, and with expiration, the nitrogen which was present in the residual volume, some amount of it will come out. It will be washed out or it will come out. We will collect it in a bag, okay? So this will go on, and you can see here it is an open circuit method, as I mentioned. It's not a closed circuit. The patient is inspiring from somewhere and exhaling out in the other system. So it's an open circuit method. So with each breath, oxygen is going in, and whatever nitrogen was present, it is coming out into the bag. So eventually all the nitrogen that was present in the residual volume will come out into the bag. Now we have collected all the nitrogen present in the residual volume. All that nitrogen has come out, and we will measure the volume of nitrogen in the bag where we collected it. If it is 800 ml, then naturally the residual volume will be 1000 ml, because the first assumption was 80% air in the residual volume is that of nitrogen. This was just, I took just hypothetical figures so far. I'll describe the method once again, but just try to understand the principle behind this method of nitrogen washout. The oxygen will slowly with each breath, it's going to wash out the nitrogen from the alveoli, from the residual volume, and the nitrogen comes out. So remember, the valve is different compared to the helium dilution method. This valve will be another type of valve, or two-way valve, something like this, where air comes in, inspired air from one place, or it has 100% oxygen, no nitrogen, and the air that is exhaled out is not going back there, it's going into the bag. So that's a critical difference between helium dilution and nitrogen washout. Right. So that's the principle of this nitrogen washout method. Let's describe the method once again. And yeah, but just one point that I want to mention at this moment, one point needs to be highlighted. Why nitrogen was selected? The nitrogen is selected for this method because nitrogen is more of lipid soluble and less of water soluble. First point. So whatever nitrogen has was inspired from the previous breathing, very less amount is there in the body fluids in the dissolved state. Try to understand this. I gave you the analogy of the cup. I'll just explain once again. The analogy of the cup. The cup volume was constant, and in that the volume of that wet tea powder was also constant. It was not changing. We need that in the nitrogen washout method. How? Look, we started the method, and at that point there was some fixed volume of nitrogen that was there in the lungs. At the start of the procedure, there was fixed volume of nitrogen in the residual volume of the lung, and that starts coming out. The subject is breathing oxygen, 100% oxygen. So nitrogen is not coming from outside. And we don't want nitrogen or that gas, we don't want the gas to coming from the blood also. I mean, it was possible that some amount of gas comes from the blood into the alveolus and it comes out with expiration. We don't want that to happen. We want that whatever nitrogen is there at the start of this method, it's the nitrogen entire volume that is going to come out by the end of this method, all of that nitrogen is going to come from the lungs alone, because we are measuring the volume of the lungs. Remember, in the helium dilution method, what was the requirement? Patient was breathing helium, but we didn't want the helium to go from lung into the blood. Yes, in this case, we don't want nitrogen to come from the blood into the alveolus and come out with exhaled air, because we want only that nitrogen which was there at the start of the experiment, and all of it should come out. That's it. Blood nitrogen should not come out, and that happens because as I said, nitrogen is not so much water soluble, so it's not dissolved so much in the body fluids at the normal barometric pressure. You know, at high barometric pressures, as like deep sea diving, the high pressure will cause dissolution, the nitrogen will be dissolved in the body fluids. But in the normal case, at the normal atmospheric pressure, not that much nitrogen is dissolved in the body fluids and in the blood, and therefore not much nitrogen is going to come from the blood into the alveolus and from the alveolus coming out in our particular method. That chance is not there, or very less. So with that, let me just describe it quickly once again. Nitrogen washout method, open circuit method based on the law of conservation of mass. There is a certain initial lung volume and a certain initial concentration. Subject is asked to breathe through a mouthpiece which has a special valve. The subject will breathe 100% oxygen. Yes. So starting point is there is a lung volume and there is a certain amount of nitrogen present in the lung volume. From where this nitrogen has come? Naturally, because the person has been breathing the atmospheric air, so nitrogen will be there in the lungs. So the subject starts breathing 100% oxygen. Oxygen goes in to the lungs and nitrogen from the lungs starts coming out. We will start collecting that nitrogen in a bag. Initial volume of the bag is 0. Now the nitrogen is going and filling into that bag. So when the subject exhales, the nitrogen that will come out will be from his or her lung volume. Clear? Nitrogen was not inhaled by the subject. Nitrogen is not going to come from the blood into the lungs, as I said, and therefore whatever nitrogen is coming out is solely coming out from the lungs of the subject. It starts coming out as the oxygen goes in with inspiration, nitrogen starts coming out. The exhaled air will be collected in a bag, and the bag had initial volume of 0. Bag did not contain anything. Now each inspired volume of 100% oxygen will dilute the nitrogen in the lungs. As I said, remember that example of the cup filled with a wet tea powder. Each 100% oxygen going in will dilute the nitrogen, or will dilute that tea powder, and it will come out. So, and each expired volume sends out a fraction of nitrogen into the bag. Slowly, 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 we fill the water, some amount of tea powder will come out. Then again, we fill the water into the cup, some amount of that tea powder coming out. Similarly, we inspire the oxygen, then some amount of nitrogen from the lung is coming out. So, nitrogen in the lungs will go on decreasing with each breath until all the nitrogen has been washed out. Yeah, so that's the method, nitrogen washout method. All the nitrogen was present initially is now collected in the bag. Yes, the critical statement is whatever nitrogen was present at the start of this method, all of that nitrogen has been now washed out from the lungs and it has been collected into the bag. Right, and some amount of inspired oxygen will also come out into the bag, and of course carbon dioxide also comes out, so that also will be there. Generally, the procedure is continued for about 7 minutes. 7 minutes is the time required for complete washout of nitrogen from the lungs with a normal breathing. Okay, the person's breathing is normal, quiet breathing. 7 minutes will be required for this procedure. Now, there is a volume of the bag that is V2 and the nitrogen concentration in the bag, that is C2. Remember, C1V1 is equal to C2V2. So, precisely by law of conservation of mass, mass of nitrogen in the bag is the same as volume that was present in the lungs at the start of the procedure. If you understand this, you have understood the nitrogen washout method. So, there was a certain lung volume and there was certain volume of nitrogen present in that lung volume at the start of this procedure. And then with each breath, that nitrogen started coming out because you inhaled only oxygen. So, nitrogen starts coming out with expiration. You collected it in a bag. That's the procedure. That's the key element of the procedure. So, hence the lung volume. So, C1, V1, initial concentration of nitrogen and initial volume. C2, V2, that's final concentration of nitrogen, and V2 is that which was collected in the bag, the volume of nitrogen collected in the bag. That was the nitrogen volume which was present in the lungs. If you understand that, that is the V2 finally which came out. So, C1, V1 is equal to C2, V2 of course. The only thing that now remains is which lung volume are we referring to? When we say we are measuring the lung volume from which the nitrogen came out and we collected it into the bag. That was a starting. So we have called it V1 of course, and we collected it and it came into the bag. So which lung volume is that? The V1 is the lung volume at the instant the subject starts breathing the 100% oxygen. You get the point? It's simple. This is the moment of the starting of the procedure, and suppose this is the volume in which that nitrogen is present. If it is a residual volume, means the subject has done a maximum forceful expiration. At that moment, there is a residual volume at which the lungs are, and you now start the procedure and you start inspiring the 100% oxygen. So, you are collecting the nitrogen from the residual volume of the lung, and therefore, the volume finally which we are measuring will be the residual volume, which is based on the nitrogen that we collected in the bag. So, got the point? What is the starting volume of the lung when you start the procedure? If it is a residual volume, means person has exhaled out forcefully and maximally, and then you start with 100% oxygen inspiration. So, you will be measuring nitrogen present in the residual volume, because from that point onward the nitrogen is going to come out and finally all of it will be collected. So, when we say what is V1, it depends on at what stage of breathing you started the procedure. If you start the procedure at functional residual capacity, you know, at the end of quiet expiration, the lungs are at functional residual capacity, which remains in the lungs. And then you start the procedure, 100% oxygen inhalation. That means you are measuring the nitrogen which is present in the functional residual capacity. The nitrogen present in the functional residual capacity is now going to come out into the bag, and therefore the volume that you are measuring will be the functional residual capacity. So, what is V1 should be now clear. Right. The assumption made in this method is that, I have mentioned it already, but just a quick revision. The assumption made in this method is that all the nitrogen that was present at the start of the 100% oxygen inhalation will come out into the bag. It means nitrogen has not diffused from blood into the alveoli. That's the requirement. Okay. What I'm saying is, imagine that cup filled with a wet tea powder which is stuck there in the cup. Starting point of the procedure, there is a certain volume of tea powder present in the cup, and then you start putting water. We assume that the tea powder will not come from any other source. It is the stuck tea powder which is going to come out of the cup, and we will collect it. Similarly, nitrogen which is coming out and we are collecting in the bag is not coming from anywhere else but the lungs. It's only coming from the lungs whose volume we are measuring. It's not coming from the blood and diffusing from the blood coming into the lungs and coming out. No, that's not happening. That's the assumption which is made in this particular method. And why this assumption is made? Because nitrogen is lipid soluble but less water soluble, and due to low water solubility, its amount is dissolved in the body fluids. That amount is low at the normal barometric pressure, as I mentioned. Therefore, whatever comes out is entirely from the alveoli. From blood, it does not come into the alveolus that much. Its diffusion rate from blood into the alveolus is very, very low, and therefore, in our experiment, all the amount coming into the bag is the volume that was present in the lungs at the start of the procedure. Okay, and that's how, that's the nitrogen washout method. There are other methods for residual volume measurement like plethysmography. It uses Boyle's law, but that can be discussed at a later stage. What I want you to understand is, in the nitrogen washout method, this is just a final few lines which I am mentioning, and then we will stop it. C1V1 is equal to C2V2, the same formula. Hence the lung volume, that is V1. Look, initial nitrogen concentration was present in the lung volume, that was V1. And then finally all that volume of nitrogen came into the bag. And then we will measure the concentration of nitrogen in that bag. So we know the volume of the bag, we know the concentration of nitrogen in the bag. Why concentration of nitrogen is to be measured? Go back to the example which I gave you, the tea powder or coffee powder which was stuck. We are pouring water into the cup, okay, and then we take that water out with some amount of tea powder along with the water dissolved in that water will come out, and we will collect into the bag. So there will be some concentration of that tea powder which will be present finally in the bag which where we collected it. So that will be the final concentration of the tea powder in that example, or the concentration of nitrogen in the bag. Okay, 100% O2 inspired and some amount of nitrogen went out into the bag. So bag's volume and nitrogen's concentration in the bag volume, that will be C2 and V2. So V1 is lung volume in which initial nitrogen concentration was present, C1 was present. So V1 is equal to, now you can solve the equation, putting the values into the equation, you will get final volume, residual volume, or FRC, whatever volume you are measuring. That was the measurement of the residual volume. I'll just add one or two lines. I got some comments saying that please explain in little easier words. So I will open up one more section and describe these topics. Again, all the topics, all the videos which I have, almost 90 plus videos so far in the channel, most of them I am going to record once again in Hindi plus English, so that those who are well versed or convenient in Hindi may just go through those videos as well. So that was about residual volume.